Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Grand Processional led in by the award winners of the class of 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Singapore. Please welcome SMU Sound Foundry.
Mari kita rakyat Singapura sama-sama menuju bahagia, cita-cita kita yang mulia berjaya Singapura. Marilah kita bersatu dengan semangat yang baru. Semua kita berseru, majulah Singapura, majulah Singapura. Marilah kita bersatu dengan semangat yang baru. Semua kita berseru, majulah Singapura, majulah Singapura, majulah Singapura.
Thank you, SMU Sound Foundry. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. We now invite SMU Chancellor, Mr. J.Y. Pillay, to officially open this year's commencement. Chancellor, please.
On behalf of the Singapore Management University, I am pleased to extend my warmest welcome to our distinguished guests, faculty, graduates, and family members. I hereby declare Commencement 2019 open.
Thank you, Chancellor. May we invite everyone to take their seats. Good afternoon, guest of honor, Mr. Min-Liang Tan, co-founder and CEO of Razer, SMU Chancellor, Mr. J.Y. Pillay, SMU Pro-Chancellors, Mr. Lim Chi-un and Mr. Eddie Teo, SMU Chairman, Mr. Ho Kwon Ping and the Board of Trustees, SMU President, Professor Lily Kong, SMU Provost, Professor Timothy Clark, Senior Management, Faculty, distinguished guests, graduating class of 2019, and family members. A very warm welcome to Commencement 2019. I would now like to invite SMU Chairman, Mr. Ho Kwon Ping, on stage to address us. Chairman, please.
Guest of honor, Mr. Min-Liang Tan, co-founder and CEO of Razer, Mr. J.Y. Pillay, Chancellor of SMU, Mr. Lim Chi-un and Mr. Eddie Teo, Pro-Chancellors of SMU, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty and staff of SMU, the class of 2019, parents and guests, good afternoon. Welcome to the opening ceremony of SMU Commencement 2019. And let me begin by sharing with you that SMU Chancellor, Mr. J.Y. Pillay, will be stepping down from his role and that this will be his last commencement, which he will officiate as SMU Chancellor. SMU has been most privileged to have had Mr. Pillay as our Pro-Chancellor for 7 years and as Chancellor for the last 3 years. An already illustrious, highly decorated, and extremely busy public persona, when he joined us, Mr. Pillay nevertheless gave generously of his time and advice and graced the university's commencement and academic year opening ceremonies. He has inspired not only our students, but also our faculty and staff with his gentle sense of humor that belies a very inquisitive and very sharp mind. We've been truly honored to have had Mr. Pillay as our Pro-Chancellor and Chancellor. So please join me to show our appreciation. As SMU approaches the end of its teenage years, I'm taken aback by how quickly and how much it has grown since our first cohort of 309 students graduated in 2004. I'm sometimes greeted on the streets or in the shopping mall by old alumni with spouse and even children in tow, and I never cease to be shocked. And today, just 15 years later, over 2,800 students will graduate from 6 schools with a diverse range of 27 undergraduate and postgraduate programs, including 6 doctoral programs. And next year, SMU will celebrate its 20th anniversary. How time truly does fly. SMU's founding concept included being more than a typical management university. We sought to be, as the pun put it, a different you, a different pedagogical approach to shape a different kind of person. Diversity among our students and the breadth of our academic programs are at the foundation of the broad-based, holistic, and transformative education that is the hallmark of SMU. Other essential factors are inculcating a sense of social responsibility through an obligation to complete 80 hours of community service before graduating, and encouraging global exposure through overseas opportunities such as business study missions, student exchange, internships, and community service. I don't know how many times I've chanted this same mantra at every convocation or commencement ceremony, but for each cohort of students, this truly has been a core and transformational part of your SMU experience. Over the last few years, under the leadership of past President, Professor Arnold de Meyer, we enhanced the SMU experiential learning through initiatives such as SMUX, which brings together the academic experts, students, and relative industry leaders to collaborate and develop viable solutions in tackling real-world challenges. Under the new leadership of President Lily Kong, other exciting new initiatives will be unveiled in due course, because SMU has not gained a reputation for innovation without good reason. Now, upon graduation, an entirely new chapter of your life will start. Welcome to the working world. Because of Singapore's robust and still resilient economy, no one under 40 years old will ever have experienced the emotional toll and economic ravages of a high unemployment rate. While in some countries, more than half of our university graduates are unemployed for several years or have to accept menial service jobs or manual factory work, our own universities in Singapore only have to worry whether in a bad year it may take 6 months for a graduate to find employment compared to, say, 3 months in a good year. Singapore, in its entirely open economy, is highly susceptible to slowdowns in global trade, and our economy is already feeling the impact. Nevertheless, we will continue to enjoy full employment, and much of this credit goes to the close coordination between manpower planning and educational output, so that the mismatch between jobs and school leavers is minimized. And yet, there are rumblings in the air and uncertainty amongst policy planners and CEOs. The most obvious signals of global problems dominate the daily headlines. The US-China new Cold War, now more than just a trade dispute, is just the most glaring of these problems. The global economy is experiencing serious challenges where economic and political currents align to create a storm of unprecedented proportions. Decades of globalization have reversed course dramatically, with serious impact on global trade and economic growth. Fortunately, the direct impact on most of you will be minimal. The bigger problem for each of you is less immediate and less predictable, but nevertheless just as important. And that is what is due to what you probably know already as the fourth industrial revolution, with the advent of robotics and in particular artificial intelligence, which will completely disrupt our labor markets. Hundreds of job types will be made redundant even as dozens more are created. Yet even more jobs, occupations, professions, whatever fills up your working hours will be merged and reconfigured. And as our guest of honor can probably tell you, a career where you spend more time gaming than studying or writing papers may be more worthwhile for your future career. And that's why we may introduce gaming, online gaming, as a major academic degree next year. Now, this is not necessarily depressing, but it's clearly disruptive. And since you cannot possibly predict which jobs will be lost and which ones will be created, you can only do two things. First, focus not on a specific job or an occupation, but in an area of particular interest, expertise, or competency, so that you can flexibly redefine your own work focus as the world of work changes rapidly. And secondly, experiment with different occupations early in your life, even to the extent of entering the gig economy, in order to experience a variety of roles, rather than to specialize in one for a long time and then find that obsolete. I just found out that our guest of honor was a distinguished law graduate from NUS, but he probably won't admit it, but I think he was probably playing with games in his free time. And because he practiced this flexibility, which I'm advocating to all of you, he is today now the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. So those of you who are too serious about your work, our guest of honor, is an inspiration to you to find other things to do, even when you pretend to be a lawyer or an accountant or a business person. That is the way to make it big. Now, do not just simply job hop for a higher salary or promotion, but if you must, do try out different jobs to find out which work gives you the most satisfaction and enduring capacity, because curiosity requires flexibility, which is critical in a disruptive world. You should also consider working outside of Singapore as a normal and perhaps even desirable phase of your life, just as the rites of passage for almost every young New Zealander today, since New Zealand is so isolated, involves working and traveling overseas when they are still young. The whole of ASEAN is our backyard, and its 600 million people contain some of the fastest growing middle classes in the world. As the Latin injunction, carpe diem, or seize the day, exhorts, take the initiative to create your own future and not stumble into it accidentally, starting from your own first job, which you might take without much thinking and simply remain in that occupation until it's too late to ever change. I'm now delighted to introduce our guest of honor, Mr. Min-Liang Tan, a Singaporean with a truly global outlook who has made a meaningful impact on an international scale with his creativity and entrepreneurial spirit. Min-Liang is the co-founder, chairman, and CEO of Razer, Inc., the global gaming hardware company established in 2005. I noticed he wanted specifically for us to refer to him as Min-Liang Tan and not Tan Min-Liang, because I think he's concerned about having two identities, being in America, being known as Min-Liang Tan, and then Singapore as Tan Min-Liang, which has happened to me many times when I book a hotel room in the US. I have to always ask them, do you have a booking for Mr. Ping? So I think you're pretty tired of that, Min-Liang. He's also the chairman and CEO of movie technology company THX Limited. His leadership has resulted in the growth of Razer from a two-man startup to a multinational market leader that was honored in Fortune magazine's unicorn list in 2015 for private companies valued at $1 billion or above. Razer went public on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange in 2017. Now, according to Wikipedia, he has a cult-like following worldwide, and his fans have created fan sites of him, as well as even tattooed Min-Liang's name on themselves. And this is according to our own research team in our communications department. One of his fans has even gone so far as to tattoo Min-Liang's face on himself. Is that for real? It's for real. It's on him, not on her. Okay, well, there's some guy walking down out there who's got Min-Liang's face, he's tattooed on himself. That's the kind of guys who play games and who finance it to be a multi-billion-dollar business. Min-Liang was named one of the 25 most creative people in tech by Business Insider in 2015. Juniper Research distinguished him as one of the 10 top most influential leaders in tech, while Tech in Asia has ranked him number 1 of the 30 top Southeast Asia tech founders. In 2016, he was named one of the Straits Times Asians of the Year. Min-Liang, in his bold innovativeness and entrepreneurship, shares many of the values and characteristics that we have striven to imbue in you during your time here. If not for the fact that he has a shameful NUS law degree, he would truly be the quintessential SMU graduate. But we will produce, Min-Liang, others like you, and they shall bear your spirit in them, not your face tattooed on their face. We look forward, I'm sure, as all of us do, to hearing Min-Liang's message to all of you, the SMU class of 2019, as you commence on the next phase of your life, striving with purpose for yourself and for an impact on those around you. Thank you, enjoy the afternoon and the many more years of discovery ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman. I would now like to invite Mr. Min-Liang Tan to address us.
Thank you very much. All right, good afternoon, SMU class of 2019. I think you heard it first from Kwon Ping. Too bad for you, but you're going to have to graduate because the next major might actually be gaming in the next couple of years to come, all right? So I'm deeply honored to be here with you today at your commencement. And it wasn't very long ago, I was actually one of the many of you out here. To be candid, I can't even remember who spoke at my commencement, so I won't be offended if you don't remember a single word that I say. Well, today, I want to tell you about the three kinds of people that you'll meet in your life. Now, no more, no less, just the three kinds of people that you'll meet. The first, you've already met, and they're here with you in person or in spirit, and that is your family. And your family is the reason why all of you are here. My parents are the single most important people to me in my life. My father is a well-educated, stern, quiet man who came from very humble beginnings. He started work when he was only a child to make ends meet for his family. He started school late, but still managed to get a scholarship to go to university where he worked part-time to get by. My mother also came from very humble beginnings. She was the daughter of a school watchman. She and her family lived on the school premises, and she never made it to university. And while my parents had so little to go through life for themselves, they wanted only the best for their children, but expected nothing except for us to do well. I wish I could say I was a model student back when I was in school, but I wasn't. Clearly, I was playing games and doing everything that wasn't necessarily in line with what the school wanted me to do. In addition, I was always getting in trouble back in school. I was cutting classes, doing well in the subjects I was interested in, but pretty much getting Fs in everything else. My parents would keep getting called into school, and I caused them a lot of grief, especially my mother. And till this day, I regret every single time I let her down. But even while my parents were stern with us, they always told us that we could do anything after we graduated from university. Their rationale was that on a worst-case scenario, they had given me an education that I would not go hungry, And I suppose it was because they had so little in their lives that they wanted to make sure that we would not end up wanting. From my father, I learned the importance of hard work, attention to detail, and responsibility. From my mother, I learned that you needed to just go get what you wanted out of life. Against all odds, I graduated from law school. I found a job at a law firm. But at the back of my mind, my mother's voice would always be there, saying, "You can do whatever you want, just go do it." So I'm often asked how my parents reacted, when they found out I had quit being a lawyer and founded a startup. Well, truth be told, I never really told them. I just conveniently forgot to tell them that when I quit being a lawyer and founded Razer with just about $4,000 in savings. And slowly but surely, at some point, it probably dawned on my parents that I had quit from the law firm. It was probably the black t-shirt and jeans that I was wearing to work that kind of tipped them off. But they never said a thing about it, except my mother, who would occasionally ask if I was taking care of my health. And the thing I've learned about family is that what they say to you is what they think is the best for you. But what is unsaid is that no matter what you do, whether you take their advice or otherwise, your family will ultimately support you with any decision that you make. So I hope that you will learn from that your family are the people in your life that you will take the most from and owe the most to. Likewise, my family, my parents, are whom I've taken the most from and owe everything to. So together with you today, whether in person or in spirit, are your family. Always appreciate that every single minute, every single day. And that is the first group of people that you have met. Now, the second group of people are those that you will meet in the course of your work. I was fortunate, like all of you here today, that I was given a good education. And while I enjoyed being a lawyer, I found I was really passionate about something that had absolutely nothing to do with anything I had learned in school, but was in fact everything that school had been teaching me was a complete waste of time, and that was gaming. Today is day one for the rest of your life. You have got to discover for yourself what you love to do, and it's not necessarily what you may have spent your entire life studying or working toward. Your work is going to be a very big part of your life, and as such, it is incredibly important that you commit yourself to doing great work. If you're lucky, like me, you'll find your path early on. But if you don't truly love the work that you do, move on and don't stop looking for until you find what you're truly passionate about. I founded Razer in 2005. 12 years later, we went public on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. Today, we're the leading global lifestyle brand for gamers, by gamers. But all of this wasn't just my work. I had some part in it, yes. But the work to get us to this point was really the team. It was really the people I had met in the course of my work. And the people that you will meet in work will dictate if you will be successful in life. I can't emphasize how important this is, especially for your first job, that it isn't the salary that you're going to get or the title that you will have, but it's the people that you work with, work for, and the culture that you'll be working in. If you hang out with negative, toxic people at work who aren't committed to doing well, you're destined for failure. Conversely, if you're lucky enough to meet smart, driven people who want to do well for themselves, for the people they work with, and for the organizations that they work for, you're more likely to succeed in life. I was lucky to have met some of the most driven and smartest people in the course of my life, many of whom have become close friends, colleagues, and mentors. One of my seed investors, his name is Ka-Ling, has been instrumental in my life. I met him randomly through the introduction of a friend who said, I remember, he's just as crazy as you. I'm sure you guys will get along well. And since then, we've been friends for over a decade, and he's still one of the most annoying people I know. Why? Because he's always messaging me, saying I'm a loser, and I should be doing so much more. And that's really annoying, but I've realized more often than not that he's right. I'm not pushing myself hard enough, and it's important for us to find annoying friends who keep pushing us forward. Another person I credit the success of Razer to is a gentleman called Kor King Ju. He is our Chief Operating Officer. Now, Kor, as we call him, is more than just the COO of Razer to me. He's a mentor, he's a friend, and I've absolutely no doubt that without him, Razer would never have scaled to where we are today. Prior to Razer, he had run global organizations and was the CEO of a public listed company. And while I've learned so much from him, technical skills, management skills, it's the non-business things that I've learned from him that are the most important to me. For example, he has absolutely no personal ego at all. He always puts the interests of the company and the people around him first. There's a little known story that only those in Razer know, and this is probably the first time I'm speaking about it in public. Many years ago, when I first approached him to join Razer, I had approached him to join the company as CEO of Razer, and he could very well been a phenomenal CEO for us, but he preferred to take the COO role. It wasn't an issue of money, title, or prestige for him. He just felt he could contribute the most as COO of a tiny company like ours back then. And he's one of the hardest workers at Razer. He doesn't need to be. It's just his work ethic. And to date, he's one of the people that I respect the most in my life. It's truly the people that you meet in the course of your work that can fundamentally change your life. So this is a second group of people that you will meet, the people that you will work with. Find work that you're truly, truly passionate about, and surround yourself with like-minded people, people that you want to grow with, learn from, and be successful with. The third and final group of people are those that you will spend your life giving back to. The very fact that you're here today, graduating from one of the finest institutions in the world, means that many have come around you to make this happen. And whether you know it or not today, you owe a debt to them, and you have a moral and ethical duty to give back. But who would you be giving back to? That is for you to discover. It could be your local community. It could be this very school that you're graduating from. It could be for the Singaporeans here, your country, Singapore. And given that all of us are citizens of the world, it could be this very planet that we live on. And if you're in as fortunate a position to be able to give back, just know that you're giving back not because you'll be thanked, honored, or recognized. In fact, it's more likely that you will not be thanked, honored, or recognized for it, and you will just hear negativity and naysayers. About a year ago, our Singapore Prime Minister, PM Lee, tweeted about creating a cashless economy. I tweeted back, dude, we could totally help with that. I didn't say dude, but you get the idea. And with that, there was a whole lot of negativity and naysayers on the internet. How is a gaming company going to build an e-payment platform? But it didn't matter to us. What mattered was that this was an opportunity for us as Singaporeans to step up and give back, to do something for Singaporeans by Singaporeans. And it didn't matter for us if we succeeded or failed. At least we would have tried for the country. And fast forward a year today, we now run one of the biggest e-money platforms in the region. We process billions of dollars in digital payments, and we're now trialing our e-payment network in Singapore as we speak. It's not about being popular. It's not about being liked. It's about doing the right thing when you have the opportunity to do so. Every time you want to do something you believe in, don't let the voices of others discourage you. Have the conviction to follow your own path. Life is short. Don't let the naysayers distract you, because in the bigger scheme of things, they don't matter at all in the work that you will do. And it doesn't matter if you succeed or if you fail. What is important is that you try to make a difference for the people that you seek to give back to. And some of that effort will make a difference to them, however large or small. So step up, give back, and make a difference to the people around you, to your country, to the world. Not for what others think, but for your responsibility to do so. In closing, when I was a kid, my mother would drop me off at the local bookstore, and I would sit there reading all day with my brother for hours and hours. And one of the series of books I really enjoyed reading was the Choose Your Own Adventure series. I'm sure many of you guys have actually gone through that too. And at every few pages of the book, I would be presented with a dilemma, a choice, and the result of each choice was always gloriously random, no matter how much thought I would have put into it. And that is how I've always seen life. That life is just a game, a series of random choices that I've made for the ongoing adventure ahead of me. And today, as you graduate to begin day one, I wish for you a life that is just a game with many random choices for the adventure that is ahead of you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tan, for being here with us this afternoon. Mr. Tan will now take his leave.
Graduate, I'll be working as an auditor for KPMG in the Financial Services Department. I was the Honorary General Secretary for SMU Accounting Society. Being part of the ASOC's Management Committee has allowed me to be a more confident speaker, gain more independence, and step out of my comfort zone to be the person that I am today. And I'll always be grateful for the opportunity to serve the ASOC students as well as the many lessons learned and friendship gained.
I'm most interested in impact investment, and hopefully that's the industry that I'll be joining very soon. I think my most memorable moment in SMU has been leading my very own overseas community service project known as Project Gazab Nainital. This gave me a chance to hone my leadership skills, hang out with an absolutely amazing bunch of people, and of course give back to society in a meaningful way. SMU has given me numerous opportunities, and I believe that all of these opportunities have helped transform me into a more confident and bold individual today.
I'm very privileged to be able to start work before I even graduate. So I'm working at Razer as a software test engineer. The most memorable moment that I had in SMU was to be able to do my final year project. We worked closely with the Smart Local on creating a social media monitoring tool for them. What he has taught me a lot was learning how to manage our stakeholders by understanding their business needs and creating solutions that cater to them. SMU education has transformed me for the better. We have learned to be able to work well in teams, to be able to work well with other people, regardless of different backgrounds.
I plan to go into marketing or public relations in the entertainment industry. The most memorable moment I've had in SMU was actually my exchange program that was in early 2018. I was based in Madrid, but I was lucky enough to be able to travel all around Europe. It taught me how to be a more independent person. SMU also gives us the opportunity to travel overseas to do community service projects. And I was fortunate enough to have been able to travel to Cambodia to lead an OCSP called Project Takyo. I think with community service projects, they also teach you soft skills, so like patience, compassion, and know that you're fortunate enough to be living in a place like Singapore.
My most memorable time in SMU was the time I was in Bondu, and that's when I have to work with a lot of people. So team management is something which I learned because coming from JCs and secondary schools where you're always working individually, SMU is filled with many group projects. As I'm graduating now, I really see the importance of working in different types of teams with different dynamics.
I've been offered a traineeship at a law firm in Singapore where I'll be pursuing litigation in the Corporate and Commercial Disputes Department. The most memorable moment or experience that I've had in SMU is being part of the International MOOCs program, where I've represented SMU in various MOOC competitions in Japan, Frankfurt and Vienna. While SMU has given me the grounding to have the legal skills necessary to meet the modern demands of society, it's also given me opportunities to participate in international MOOCs, which I would definitely say that this entire experience has transformed me for the better.
We are the class of 2019!
And now, the final step before we can all be recognized as graduates. Graduates, please rise. We now invite SMU Chancellor, Mr. J.Y. Pillay, accompanied by SMU President and SMU Provost on stage to officially confer the undergraduate and postgraduate degrees. Chancellor, please.
By the powers granted pursuant to the Singapore Management University Act, I hereby confer upon you the degrees shown respectively and admit you to all the accompanying rights, privileges, and responsibilities. You are henceforth proud graduates of this university, and I bid you to always uphold the good name and standards of this institution. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you all. I would now like to invite Chancellor and Provost back to their seats and President to the rostrum. Graduates, please be seated. President Professor Lily Kong will now address us. President, please.
Thank you. Mr. J.Y. Pillay, Chancellor, SMU, Mr. Lim Cheon and Mr. Eddie Teo, Pro-Chancellors of SMU, Mr. Ho Kwam Ping, Chairman, SMU Board of Trustees, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, and students of SMU, parents, and guests. A very good afternoon to all. I'm truly delighted to be here with all of you today to share in the joy of our latest graduates and in the pride of your families. Today is significant as it marks the end of one exciting period in your lives, but also the beginning of a potentially even more exhilarating adventure. That is why we call this a commencement. Your hard work and achievements have taken you closer towards your aspirations, and they deserve to be celebrated. Earlier this year, I outlined strategies to help SMU work towards realizing our shared Vision 2025. These were based on what I call the 4 I's, and I know my colleagues are probably rolling their eyes and saying, oh, here she goes again, we're going to hear about the 4 I's. But let me just repeat what they are: internationalization, integration, industry engagement, and innovation and entrepreneurship. Let me just say that again: internationalization, integration, industry, and innovation. Whilst they were framed to help SMU as a university achieve its goals, I think that you as graduates can apply similar strategies to help you reach for your dreams. Let me look at each of the 4 I's in turn. First, internationalization. At SMU, you had the chance to discover the world, to study and form friendships with your peers overseas through global exposure. All of you here will have seen some of that in the video a little bit earlier. Nearly all of you went abroad to either spend a semester in a partner university on student exchange, or to do some internships, community service projects, or to participate in business study missions. Many also participated in overseas cultural programs and CCAs. In this modern interconnected world, you will need to build on the global mindset that we have encouraged you to develop during your time here. The companies or organizations that you work for or launch will be competing and acting on a global stage. You will be vying for jobs not only with your peers in Singapore, but from around the region and further afield. Many of you will end up working overseas, at least for part of your careers. So I urge you to put that global exposure that you experienced while at SMU to good use, and be sure to build on it whenever you can. That was the first I, internationalization. Second, industry. SMU has honed you to be job ready in a sense, because we have believed in relevant hard skills and soft skills. Practical experience gained through internships, SMU X projects, and community service projects. All these have made you amongst the most sought-after university graduates, with higher employment rates and starting salaries than your peers from other institutions. Do not squander this advantage. You will need to work hard to constantly update and upgrade your skills through lifelong learning to ensure that you always have the skills, knowledge, and experience needed for the jobs of tomorrow. We have worked hard in believing that in delivering education that is fundamentally grounded in a blend of academic learning and real-world learning, and that is our gift to you in preparing for industry readiness. The third of the 4 I's is about innovation. I commend those of you who have used your time here to found startups or trial innovative products and services. However, even those of you who are pursuing careers as employees in established organizations should approach challenges with an entrepreneurial and innovative mindset. You don't always have to start a company like our guest of honor did, but you should always seek new challenges and opportunities. Look for the best solutions, not just the easiest. When things go wrong and you fail, as you inevitably will from time to time, be resilient and strong. Pick yourself up, learn from the experience, and carry on. Use your creativity to surprise, inspire, and lead. In short, innovate. The last of the 4 I's is integration. This is putting everything together to make a meaningful impact. You have experienced a broad-based, holistic, and transformative education at SMU. You have achieved academic excellence, You've pursued artistic, sporting, and cultural interests through your CCAs. You've developed hard, soft, and hard skills, helped the needy and less privileged in society, and you've applied your knowledge and experience to tackle real-world challenges. You have the analytical skills, the creativity, the communication skills, the focus and determination that prepare you for leadership and success in your future career. That breadth of experience. Don't let the world of work force you to narrow your perspectives. Maintain a balance between your career pursuits and your personal development, and seek to add value in everything that you choose to do within and beyond your careers. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the parents, siblings, relatives, and friends who are present, whether in person or in spirit. All of you have played a crucial role, such a crucial role, in these graduates' journey and in their achievements. Today is a celebration for you too. And so I ask all of you to join me in a round of applause for all those who've supported our graduates through this entire journey in the usual way. To our new graduates, you now join the ranks of some 24,000 alumni. I encourage you to stay connected with one another, with your schools, and with the university. I'm sure you will cherish the enduring friendships that you have formed and nurtured here, not just amongst your peers, but also with your professors and staff. My thanks to all of you who have kept up the SMU tradition of contributing collectively to a graduating class scholarship. Your contributions will enable needy students to enjoy the SMU education that you had, and we truly appreciate your generosity. As you step into the world of work, I urge all of you to carry your circle values of commitment, integrity, responsibility, collegiality, leadership, and excellence with you wherever you go. These values are a vital part of SMU's holistic approach to education. At SMU, both the training of graduates intellectually and the nurturing of graduates with a heart are critical to the mission of the university. In recognition of the students who have embraced these values, the university confers on them SMU's Circle Awards at the commencement ceremony each year. Circle Award winners have been actively involved in serving and giving back to SMU and the community at large. They have demonstrated leadership abilities, are upright in character, and well respected by peers, staff, and faculty. They are our role models. To them, and the entire class of 2019, my heartiest congratulations and best wishes to all of you. I'm confident that you will make a meaningful impact in your chosen field and help to shape a better world for all of us. Thank you and congratulations once again.
Thank you, President. Please remain on stage. It is now our pleasure to present the Circle Award winners. From the Lee Kong Chian School of Business, Tan Rui Feng. Yo Keng Yi. From the School of Accountancy, Ho Kwok Yang. Mark Teo Ju Pin. From the School of Economics, Charles Chan Hao Wai. Toshin Kanyut Sequeira. From the School of Information Systems, Lim Jianquan Jaren. Po Boon Kiet. From the School of Social Sciences, Kwek Jian Chiang. Yo Junming Joven. From the School of Law, Diraj G. Chainani. Yong Chun Wei, Aaron. Thank you, Professor Lily Kong. Congratulations to all our Circle Award winners.
I feel a bit excited for what's coming up, moving into a new phase of life, but also at the same time sad to leave all these good memories behind. I find myself gaining a couple of kg over the years, but at the same time I think understanding more about myself and my impact on the community around me. During my stints as the project leader in Conjunct Consulting, I was helping this children's home to transit towards the out-of-home care. We have a lot of debates on what is the right vision, what are the right words, what is the right phrasing so that we can truly represent what the home stands for. At the end of the project, the point of contact actually came to tell me that without us coming in to help them, they may phase out from the social sector. This vision statement is actually their current vision statement and that is imprinted in all their collaterals for the children's home. I feel very encouraged to see how our work has actually impacted the community around us and that this children's home can stay where it is today. In 2017, I was selected to go to Bidco Uganda Limited as a sales and marketing intern. Going to Africa was a very tough transition. Being there really exposed me to what it feels like to be not the majority. When I came back to Singapore from Uganda, I was a lot more conscious of the things I say, the things I do around people who are just generally different. For example, having different sexual orientation, different ethnicities, having disabilities. Before entering university, I did not know what to expect. And right now, at the end of the journey, I'm glad to know myself better and know what I can do for the world out there.
I'm excited to begin a new phase in my life, but I'm also going to miss my SMU life and the many friends that I've made here along the way. Over the past 4 years, I've become more comfortable in social settings and in working with new people. I've also become more analytical in the way I think. In my first year of university, I went to India under Project Neora, and it was a meaningful time of giving back to the local community through teaching the children in the various schools and also to improve their businesses. I went to the University of Pennsylvania and it was a wonderful time of meeting new people there and immersing myself in a brand new culture. These experiences helped me to have a broader perspective of life and to reassess what I wanted to do with the rest of my university life at that point in time. I wanted to meet new people and to gain new experiences and not to get sucked into the whole rigor of academia and to miss out on what it means to be a university student, what it means to have a holistic development. My parents never once put any pressure on me to get a certain grade or a certain GPA. It is through their support in both the big and small things that I was able to focus on doing my very best in school. And that really motivated me to give my very best to honor them as well. I'll always look back at these 4 years in SMU as a time of growth and fun. And as challenging as it got at times, I've always found it to be deeply enriching and meaningful. Even as I move on to a new phase of my life, I will always remember what it means to reconnect with my old friends and to share new experiences together.
May we now invite SMU Provost, Professor Timothy Clark, to present the awards. Let us welcome Tan Rui Feng to receive his SMU Salutatorian Award. Let us welcome Eugene Tan to receive his SPH Valedictorian Award. Thank you, Provost. May we invite you back to your seat and Eugene to the rostrum, please. Eugene will now deliver his valedictorian speech.
4 years ago, standing at the crossroads of NTU, NUS, and SMU, I had set 3 goals for myself: to be a more confident speaker, to be a more critical thinker, and to give back to the community in any and every way that I can. Taking a leap of faith, I chose the youngest university, which at that time branded itself as a different you. 4 years later, I'm glad to say that I had made the right decision, and I've never looked back since. Having set my eyes on my destination, I began my voyage with 2 key thrusters propelling me forward. Firstly, an unceasing desire to keep learning, growing, and bettering myself. Going through a challenging curriculum here at SMU humbled me from the very beginning and kept me on my toes, eager to learn and improve myself in all areas of my life. Secondly, a love for the community to give of whatever growth I've experienced back. Being in a university that offers a plethora of opportunities to serve the local community avails me the avenues of giving back, be it through the School of Accountancy Peer Tutors Program, the Mentoring Circle, or the Career Champions Program, which are all very special to me. With these 2 key thrusters in place, and with a good balance between them, I was able to move steadily in the right direction, inching ever closer toward my goals. Now, that said, it is impossible for one to go through the 4 years here in SMU without having faced a setback. But amidst our greatest adversities, we all turned to something. And that something, or someone, helped us to hang on, no matter how rough the seas got. For me, I am deeply thankful for my professors and friends who constantly encouraged my heart. I'm deeply thankful for my family who showed me their unconditional love and support all these years. But most importantly, I thank God for His grace in seeing me through the storms of life. So, here we are at the end of our voyage, battered and bruised by the challenges we faced. But we've all made it to the end, haven't we? And haven't we become stronger through it all? Did I achieve the goals that I had set for myself 4 years ago? To a large extent, yes. And I believe many of you did as well. But is our journey then complete? Far from it. With each passing year, we discover new areas in our lives that we want to work on. And with a new phase of our lives ahead of us, a new voyage has just begun. But the journey ahead is not going to be a smooth sailing one. The seas are going to be rougher, and the winds stronger than they've ever been. There will be struggles, and there will be disappointments. We may even find ourselves hard-pressed on every side, but we shall not be crushed. Let us persevere on with strength of mind and humility of heart, forging new memories and leaving our marks on wherever we are called to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Eugene. Congratulations once again to all award winners of the class of 2019.
Tonight, gonna bring the whole house down. Don't matter, cause we'll make it right. Gonna take the whole downtown. We can do it how you wanna do. So come with us and bring your crew. We'll keep it live and let it flow. Make history before we go. East Coast, West Coast, gather round, let's take a tour. Come on. Midwest, dirty South, show them what it's all about. East Coast, West Coast, gather round, let's take a tour. Midwest, dirty South, show them what it's all about. If the mood is low, we're gonna take it high. If the mood is low, we're gonna take it high. If the mood is low, we're gonna take it high. Take it high, take it high, take it high. Come on. We're gonna take it high.
Eurythmics, Funk Movement, and Sound Foundry for another ecstatic performance. Let's give them another round of applause. Once again, congratulations to the class of 2019. We have now come to the end of the opening ceremony. Please remain seated for the academic recessional.